Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. Here at the University of Louisiana Monroe, we have homecoming week going on. And this weekend, ULM Warhawks will be taking on the Georgia State University Panthers. Back when we were out for fall break, I went to the Timeless Cafe and Tea Room in downtown Minden, and the manager of Timeless was asking me when our next home game was, and I told her it was against Georgia State, and then she asked me, "Do you mean the Bulldogs? Y'all playing this?" No, this is not. No, this is not the University of Georgia Bulldogs. This is the Georgia State University Panthers. And the thing about Georgia State that a lot of folks don't know, the college has been around for quite a while, but their football team has only been around for 4 years. They just started playing football in the FCS subdivision, formerly known as Division 1AA, and they were in the CAA, the Colonial Athletics Association, but now they're in the Sun Belt Conference with ULM and a host of other colleges. And thing about this season is just that it hasn't been easy for Georgia State because they haven't won a game yet. They're 0-7. Hopefully ULM will play them, and then Georgia State's record will be 0-8. And welcome them to the FBS subdivision just like everybody else has. So all I got to say about that is maroon on, talons out. Go Warhawks. For the past week, I've gotten a lot of criticism about the theme song to this show. Some folks have told me that it sounds like a video game from the 90s. Yeah, but it 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 may sound like a video game from the 90s. I don't think it does, and there are quite a few other people who don't think it does, and those people love the song. So all I'm saying is this will be the theme song to this show until I can no longer do this show anymore. Case closed. Um, okay, enough ranting. Let's get to the books I bought today. Up first, we have Venom number 42. Now, this is the very last issue of Venom that's going to be coming out. In this issue, he goes up against this villain named Crossbones and the Department of Occult, and they're what they're doing is that they're going after anyone who has the Devil's Mark, and in this case, Venom has the Devil's Mark. And I don't know what's going to happen because I just bought it today. As a matter of fact, I really don't read unless I don't have anything else to read or anything else to do. I really don't read books until like the very next day or until after I've done this show. All right. Up next, one other book I bought was Guardians of the Galaxy number 7. And in this one, they captured this some person named Angela, and she's come to Earth to do something, but the Guardians of the Galaxy in the last issue were able to come get her before she could ever get to Earth. And the character Angela comes out of the miniseries called Age of Ultron, which is not to be mistaken for the Avengers movie with the same name that's going to be coming out in a few years. All right. Up next is Wolverine, the X-Men number 37, and it is chapter 9 to the Battle of the Atom story arc. And from what I've read, these X-Men for the future who claim that the world is going to be cataclysmic if the 5 original X-Men arrive in the remain in the present, they're not who they claim to be. One of them ended up being Wolverine's son by Mystique. Yeah, same thing I was thinking. But I noticed to the rest of the X Men, Magic, who happens to be Colossus' sister, took young Iceman and young Beast to the future and sought out help from these other X Men who were do-gooders, and they come to the present to pretty much kick the other X Men's behinds. So far, it's been bloody, and I can't wait to read this issue and then the last one that comes out next week. All right. Up next, we have Superior Spider-Man Team Up number 5, and in this one, we find out exactly why Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, aka Otto Octavius. For all of you who don't know, Doctor Octopus switched minds with Peter Parker. So while the rest of the world thinks that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, it's really Otto Octavius in Spider-Man's body. And in the other book that he's in, Superior Spider-Man, he kidnaps 5 of the 6 original members of the Sinister Six. And in this issue, we find out exactly what his plans are for them. All right, up next we have Secret Avengers number 10. Now, the thing about this book, Secret Avengers is kind of it's a shieldish book. It's pretty much kind of like the TV series Marvel's Agents of Shield. The only difference is some of the members of the book are Hawkeye, Black Widow, Iron Patriot, aka Colonel James Rhodes, the Hulk, and Mockingbird, just to name a few. And they've been sent by Shield to go out on certain missions. But the only difference is when they're done with these missions, they get mind wiped, and they have no memory of even um, going through with the mission. Well, anyway, it's an Infinity tie-in, and they're pretty much all the remaining members of the Avengers that are down there, which is Nick Fury, not to be mistaken for. This is a different Nick Fury. This is it's based on. I want to say it's based on Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury, but the only thing is that it's actually the original Nick Fury's son. Well, he and the other Secret Avengers that stayed behind on Earth, they're pretty much holding down the fort while some of the aliens from that want to attack Earth have already arrived, and they're pretty much kicking butt and taking names just like everyone else back on planet Earth. And speaking of another superhero that's staying on Earth to defend the planet, up next we have Nova number 9, and this is also an Infinity tie-in. Now let me tell you something about this Nova. Now if you're like me, you probably grew up. The only Nova you've ever known was Richard Rider. Well, bad things happen to Richard Rider. He no longer holds the mantle of Nova. This is a 14, 15-year-old kid by the name of Sam Alexander who is the new Nova. And he found out that his father, years ago, was a member of the Nova Corps. And he inherited his father's old helmet. And whenever he puts it on, becomes Nova. Or he becomes a Nova. And he is cross paths with the likes of the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thanos. And he's gotten in trouble with his mother over it because, well, it's bad enough that she had to put up with, her, his father being a Nova. Now she has to deal with him being a Nova. Well, Mama's always right. Or is she? All right. Up next, we have Iron Man number 17. This is the conclusion to the story arc called The Origin of Tony Stark. Well, the secret origin of Tony Stark, rather. Well, in this issue, as of late, Tony Stark has found out some very shocking things about his past, about how his parents made a pact with an alien race because to genetically alter Tony Stark while he was inside his mom's womb, and some other things. And from what I've read through the preview of this book is that after what what happens after Tony Stark really finds out everything, things will never be the same for him again. But don't they say that about every book? All right, up next we have Justice League number 24. This is a tie-in to the miniseries called Forever Evil, which I'm also reading. And this is not the Justice League. This is actually the Crime Syndicate. Um, they're the polar opposite of the Justice League. They're pretty much villains. And that guy right there who looks like Superman. It's actually Ultraman, and she who looks like Wonder Woman is Superwoman. Um, and then he who looks like Batman, it's Owlman. And let's see who else. And right there, who looks like Green Lantern is his name's actually Power Ring. And let me tell you, these guys are bad news. And and I think one of their first targets happened to be the Teen Titans because they've already destroyed the Justice League. So why not go after the sidekicks as well? Yeah, sure. Take it out. Yeah, sure. Beat up the good guys, then go after their sidekicks. All right. Up next, we have Red Lanterns number 24. This is part 4 of the Lights Out story arc. And from what I read, Relic, the guy who arrives on Oa to sap all the energy, well, he's also done the same to just about every core in the universe. Um, he's already he's already done away with the Blue Lanterns and the Yellow Lanterns and just about everybody with the exception of the Red Lanterns and Agent Orange, who I'll get to in a minute. And then when he arrives on Oa, all he just wants to do is get rid of the power. He doesn't want to start a fight. I mean, come on, this is the Green Lantern Corps you're talking about. They're not going to give their light up without a fight. And he said, "Okay, you want to fight? Let's fight." And then at the end of Green Lantern number 24, he destroys the central power battery to Oa. All right, I was talking about Larfleeze. Well, up next is number 4. The Orange Lantern is named Larfleeze. There is only one person. There's only one ring, and it belongs to him. Now, there are. Let me tell you something about the. There are different lights to the emotional spectrum. I mean, red symbolizes rage. Orange symbolizes avarice. If you don't know what avarice is, it's another word for greed. Yellow symbolizes fear. Green symbolizes will. Blue symbolizes hope. Um, Indigo symbolizes compassion. And violet um, symbolizes love. And there are two other colors. Black symbolizes death, and white symbolizes life. And speaking of White Lantern, the right the White Lantern is currently Kyle Rayner, who was once a Green Lantern. As a matter of fact, years ago, he had his own book, which was Green Lantern, and he was the only Green Lantern around because Hal Jordan, who was previously the Green Lantern before him, ended up killing the entire Green Lantern Corps and all the Guardians, with the exception of Ganthet, who found Kyle Rayner when he arrived on Earth. Okay, but enough of that. And earlier I was talking about the Teen Titans. Well, up next is Teen Titans number 24. And this is also a Forever Evil tie-in. And the Teen Titans haven't been seen in a while, and when we find out where they've been or what happened to them. All right. Then we have Superman number 24. It's the conclusion to the War story arc that began in Superman Annual number 2. And the villain that Superman is going up against is a psycho pirate. And which just happens to be an ordinary person who just put this mask on and then decide to want to play with everybody's emotions and get into folks' heads and cause them to do all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, after all, the villain's name is Psycho Pirate. All right, those are the books that I bought today at Clint's Comics here in Monroe. But last weekend, I went to Shreveport to Excalibur Comics, and I decided to fill some holes. And the issues I bought were Larfleeze numbers 2 and 3, because Larfleeze is a villain, and he's the only Orange Lantern. But if it's anything Green Lantern related, I'm a sucker for it. I love Green Lantern. And then the other book I bought was Superior Spider-Man Team Up number 3, which is also a Infinity tie-in. It's basically Spider-Man. He stays on Earth while all the other Avengers are off planet, stopping the bigger foe from getting on Earth after all the small foes have already arrived there. All right. That's 15 books that I bought, and which brings my total up to 5,955 comics. So I have 45 more to go till I reach the pinnacle of 6,000. Well, that's all the time I have for this week's show. And I've decided that I'm going to start. As viewers like you, I appreciate y'all watching, but I also want your input because, like I said on episode 2, I don't want to settle for the way things are going. I want to get better, and every week I try to, or at least a few times a day, I always try to think of things to do to make the show better segments, stuff like that. Like right now, I'm thinking of one. I'm doing one thing to make the show better. I'm actually incorporating music. As a matter of fact, I'm listening to some songs by Daft Punk from their album that came out 5 months ago called Random Access Memories, and I've been playing it throughout this episode. And next week I'll find something else to listen to. But if you have any suggestions, any at all, let me know on YouTube, let me know on Facebook, or if you have any other questions or concerns, you can reach me at comic_hero_VN@yahoo.com. And I'm also going to be posting this. I'm also going to be posting that email address in the end credits of the show, because if you're like me, you're probably not going to remember that email in about 3 minutes. All right, that's all the time I have. I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. See you next week. Till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.